Hey there guys, I've been having such the hardest time filling this intro today, and as you guys will see in the video, I was just having a hard time speaking in general this week. So I apologize for that. I feel like it's the shortness of breath that comes with pregnancy, and Edison is just taking over all of my lung capacity right now, so I apologize if I have trouble speaking or enunciating anything. However, I am really excited to share this video with you guys because one is something I don't generally do. I do a lot of vlogging on this channel just because that is something very therapeutic for me, but I know you guys do like advice videos as well. And two, kind of going in with that, a lot of you guys have asked me a lot of business oriented questions, more so on the business of business, you know, like how do you start your own business? How do you stay organized with your business and things like that? So I figured it would be really wonderful for me to share that with you because I love helping people out, and especially if there's young people out there who want to have their own business, have an entrepreneurial spirit. I kind of want to be there to help and support you guys in any way that I can because I think it's just wonderful and beautiful. So I figured if I am going to give you guys advice on how to do, you know, start your own business and whatnot, I feel like I should start at what I feel is like the ground zero, like just the most basic skills that you need to have when it comes to running a business, and that is effective goal setting. So in this video, I am showing off my Coach Bramble Rose agenda just because I love this thing so much. It's really important to have something that you're going to have with you at all times, or at most times when you're goal setting, especially for business reasons, that you can always refer to so you can stay on task. And it doesn't have to be this agenda. It can be any type of planner. It can be a little pocketbook. It could be a little notebook like this. This is the notebook I've actually used for planning for a long time. I've used this notebook for years before I actually really got serious about my business for like just goals with school in general. And I picked this notebook up at Ross for like $1.99. So the method that I use for goal setting is called the S.M.A.R.T system. Basically, each letter in the acronym stands for something. That's really going to allow you to think about your goals in a way that you wouldn't generally think about if you were just to write them down and leave it like that. I think it's really crucial to actually think about your goal holistically. So when you're moving forward and you do come across issues, because let's face it, we all come across a little turbulence when we're trying to accomplish our goals, you can effectively navigate that a little bit better than if you just never really put into any thought into anything else in your goal other than the overall gist of what your goal is. So I have a link below to my website. I actually have little worksheets that I use with some of my clients when they're just learning how to start to goal set for the first time, and I actually use these all the time because I'm lazy to write things out, and I just have a whole stack of printed ones that I pull out. But if you want to go ahead and visit my website to download that and then just go ahead and print that out so you can get started on your goals using the S.M.A.R.T system, feel free to. It's absolutely free. If not, just write it out by hand. It all works out the same anyway, right? But without any further to do, let's jump into this video, and yeah, I hope it helps you. Now I have this in front of you guys right here set up like this because one, I wanted to show this off. This is my unicorn agenda. As many of you know, I carry this with me literally everywhere. But the other reason why I really wanted to show you this is where I put my goals, which I think is the #1 important thing, is having your goals in a place where you're going to see them day to day. Like, you can write down your goals, and writing them down is helpful, but if they're not in front of you day to day, like, you're honestly not going to stay on track. At least for me, that was the case. I wasn't staying on track when they weren't in front of my face, like, constantly. So that is why I keep my goals in here. This is also why I keep my mood boards in here and my vision board. I keep that all in here because that's what I need to help me stay on track for my goals. This is basically what my goal sheet looks like. So I'm going to bring you guys a little closer in. All right, so this is what my goal worksheet looks like. You can actually download a free printable of this from my blog. I'll leave it down below for you guys. I just find having the worksheet already set up for me a lot easier than having to go back and write it down myself, because especially right now I have pregnancy brain, so I am liable to forget a whole bunch of things. But this is the overall setup of the goal system that I use, and the goal system that I use is the S.M.A.R.T goal system, which I have been using literally since I was a freshman in college. I remember we learned about it in an orientation program, and it's what's worked for me. It's kept me on track so many times. So the first section that I have on the worksheet is just the overall goals, where I just jot down the basic gist of what it is I'm trying to accomplish. There's nothing really specific here. It's just what is, at the end of the day, what it is do I want to get done, if that made any sense to you at all. So the main goal that I have here is book mini sessions, or book mini holiday photo shoot sessions. And that's pretty much the overall gist of the goal. And honestly, as far as a goal goes, that's good enough. On the weekly section of my agenda, that's how I jot down my goals for the week. I don't really go too into specifics, because that's generally good for day-to-day use, but especially for long-term goals that you want to track, you want to get a little bit more specific. So this is where S comes in. S stands for specificity, or the significance of your goal. And this is where you really get into detail about what your goal is. So for this goal, I wrote, I want to book 14 mini sessions between November 4th and December 16th, 2017 at $99 plus tax a session. And so that's a really specific goal, but this lets me know exactly what it is I'm looking to accomplish. And I feel like that's important, because sometimes if you don't really narrow your focus down, you can be all over the place and you're not really going to get anything done. And that, I know, frustrates a lot of people. They try to figure out why is it that when they goal set that they don't really feel like they're getting anywhere, and it's because they're not being specific with your goals. So the next in the S.M.A.R.T goal system is M, and M can stand for a lot of different things, or a few different things. It can stand for measurable, meaningful, motivational. I like to use it for measurable. My goals are really more direct and benchmark set. And what I mean by that is I'm really looking for results with my goals, not necessarily motivation. If you're goal setting for like health and wellness, then I would lean more towards the motivational end. However, if you're goal setting for business, if you're goal setting for school, I would definitely go more towards the benchmarking end, so you can see your progress and see where you need to build up your skills or just progress in. So anyway, for my measurable section, I wrote, I'm going to measure this goal by booking on average 2 mini sessions per weekend. And so I wrote that down. Even though I want to do 14, that's 7 weeks. So it's 2 per section. If I go over 14 or under 14, I can then do an average to see how I was averaging during the week, and then I can use that to set my goals next time I want to do mini session within a small amount of time. So the A is also another one that has several different meanings depending on exactly what you're trying to do. A can stand for what's agreed upon, and that's generally used when you're goal setting as a group. It can also stand for attainability, achievable, acceptable, or action-oriented. And so what I found useful for me, depending on exactly what it is I'm trying to do, is either using it as action-oriented or achievable. And so since this is more strategic for me, I'm using it as really looking down to see if this goal is achievable. And so what I wrote here is this goal is somewhat achievable. I want to book 14 sessions. However, I am going on holiday and traveling during this time, and I am limited by my pregnancy. And so I think it's really good, especially when you are really looking to see what you can do and just keeping your goals in mind to know what your limits are, because a lot of times, you know, we'll have these grand goals but we don't take in consideration our own limits, and so if we don't achieve the goals, then we just get really sad and depressed because we're like, we failed. And I think it's really important to always keep in mind the reasons why you might fail. The R stands for either your goal being realistic, how relevant your goal is, how reasonable it is, or the rewarding aspect of your goal. And so again, if I was doing like a life or happiness and health goal setting here, I would use it for the rewarding aspect of it. But since I am using this for strategic business planning, I can speak, I promise. I'm really using this to look at the reasonability and the realisticness of this goal, and that goes hand in hand with A here being how achievable this goal is. So what I wrote down here is this goal is somewhat realistic, and keeping in par with this goal is somewhat achievable, because at $99 for a mini session, it's on average of what other photogs are doing in my area. It's not too expensive, but I also do need to keep in mind my own limitations as well as the limitations of what season it is. And so this goal is also somewhat realistic and it's somewhat achievable. The last is T, and T stands for time-based. It is so important when you are goal setting to have a set time. If you don't have a set time, you're basically just letting your goals go to the wind. You have really no structure for your goals. So this basically gives you something to look forward to. This is when your goals are going to end, and this is when you can really start seeing how you progress, is basically what I'm trying to hear. Basically what I'm trying to say here. So I wrote, I will complete this goal by December 16, 2017. And that's like my end date. That's when I'm going to go back through and reassess everything of my goals. So down here I have this little section. I forgot to print it off of my original sheets, and I printed off so many of them, but on the sheets I have on my website I have a dedicated section to it. It's did I accomplish this goal and why? And this is where I take the time to really assess after my time frame is done what went wrong and what went right. This is so important for when you're benchmarking, because if you don't really think about what went wrong or what went right, you're not really benchmarking then, are you? You don't know what you need to do better. And so this is the section that I use to really assess, you know, if I did accomplish my goal, what allowed me to accomplish that goal, and if I didn't accomplish that goal, what got in my way. So now that I'm repositioned, on the back sheet here, I just keep a to-do list. I think it's so convenient to have a to-do list attached right to my goals. That way I can check it off. What I did is I put little hearts here. I like using hearts instead of boxes because I like hearts. I don't have nothing else to say about that. I like hearts. But what I do is I make a to-do list of everything that I need to do in order to accomplish this goal. And they're not really listed in order of significance here. This is more of a brain dump that I do right after I write my goals. So as you can see here, I have make ad on Instagram, post in classifieds, an FB page, like Facebook page, make digital and printed flyers, post flyers in 2 community locations, email old clients, and that should say about this promotion. And send out notices to local apartment complexes. So this is my to-do list, and as I go through and do each of these things, I'll go ahead and highlight these boxes here, and that lets me know that I am checking things off on my to-do list, which should keep me on track for my goals. So that is pretty much it when it comes to how I goal set. Like I've said, this has worked out for the past 7 years for me. I'm not going to say I've accomplished every single goal that I set. I think that is completely unreasonable. But I do have to say that this has really helped me really focus my goals. And then if I haven't accomplished a certain goal, it really helped me see what went wrong. And so when I went to go try again the next time, I was able to be much more efficient at it. And like I said, I use this for my own personal goals. Like this goal right here is a social media goal. I use this for health and happiness goals. I use this for business strategies. Like I said, the words can stand for different things. I'll also link below a little, along with the worksheet, you know, a better explanation of what each of these letters stand for. Because like I said, I use different words for different type of planning, if that makes sense. But yeah, this has just really helped me a lot and to succeed in what I wanted to do. And I know several of you have contacted me telling me that you've also wanted to get into your own business and whatnot, and you wanted to start knowing how to just strategically plan for that. And so this is like, I feel like ground zero if you're going to start doing that. This is what you need to be able to do. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you guys have any questions at all, I know that I was really rambly. I'm always rambly in real life, and I feel like this setup does not help with that at all. But if you guys have any questions at all about goal settings or other things that I do to prep me for my business, please let me know down below. Ask me on Twitter, ask me on IG. I am now active on all my social media accounts per your guys' request. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!